Hi, this is Larry at LarryRicker.com, and in this video I'm going to discuss how to reduce the friction in your in-app purchases. If you like this video, click on the like button below, and you can subscribe to my channel and check out my apps in the Apple App Store. They include the Project Organizer, Project Organizer Pro, Job Hunt, Job Hunt Pro, Opportunity Organizer, Opportunity Organizer Pro, Class Organizer, Class Organizer Pro, and Student Organizer Pro. Okay, Apple has documentation on how to promote your apps, and I highly recommend it. Primarily this document here, it's about how to promote your in-app purchases, and it goes over a lot of different things about the icons and how they should be formulated, and you can look over my other videos about how to create icons, and I've covered that in Inkscape and also in GIMP, and you can use whatever method you want to use to create the in-app purchase icons. They have to be unique. They cannot be the same as the base app. They have to be a different icon, and just go by the guidelines. 1024 by 1024 is the size of the app. Check out my other videos on how to create those. Now, once you've gotten past that and you've built a container app, so you have in-app purchases in there, and you want people to click on them. And in iOS 11, they introduced functionality where you can go to the App Store, you can see your in-app purchases on the App Store, and you can click on them directly, and they can show up in the search results. That's great. I use branch.io to create my links that I use on my website and in my inside my app when people share my app with other people, and I find that a high percentage of my app purchases come from those referrals, and so I want to promote those more. But now that they're not individual apps and there's multiple in-app purchases in my container app, and if you don't know what a container app is, go back to the beginning of the container app series and you can read about what a container app. But it has the behavior that there's multiple icons in the app. The app has multiple apps within it, so each one of those apps would have a different icon, and there is different name to the app based on, well, you can't really do it based on the in-app purchase, at least not yet. Apple may introduce that in the future. I can't predict what they're going to do. They could simply mirror the functionality that they have for the icons, which allows you to have multiple icons per app, and you can switch those programmatically. But I can't say for sure what they're going to do in the future. It would be a nice feature. But that being said, I found a gap when I set up my branch.io, and just to give you a little tour of branch.io, if I log in there, so let me pick one of my apps, which is the container app. It's the Project Organizer. And in here there's links. And the links consist of different scenarios. And there's a scenario if the app's already installed on the device, then you're going to use an iOS URI scheme. And that's based on a universal link. And if the app is not installed, you can go to the Apple App Store and download it. So that'll direct you to the place in the Apple App Store, both on the mobile device and on the desktop. Now, if you have a bundle ID and stuff, you can go and retrieve it from the App Store based on that. Universal links are enabled. And then down here you have other choices, like particularly the desktop. It'll open this browser and allow a person to purchase the app from the App Store on the Mac, and then, or presumably on Windows 2, and then they would be able to download it to their iOS device. And then you have a default URL for me that points to my website. Now, my main concern about these configurations as they stand is when I'm configuring one of my in-app purchases, I have no choice because I only have one URI, and this URI opens up the app on the device if they have it installed. And notice this is if they have it installed. So that right now works. It opens the app if it's installed on the device, but it doesn't do what I want the link to do, in that I want it to do an in-app purchase. Now when you're testing application, there's several different settings you can get from Apple. They're actually universal links, but they invoke the universal link for the App Store icon on the device. And they'll initiate an in-app purchase. They'll go out to the App Store and initiate the app getting downloaded and then having it installed. But in testing, that link, it required you to have Wi-Fi on. If they already have the app installed and they click on the universal link, it's just going to open the app, and there's no button inside there to initiate the app in-app purchase. There is on the base app. It'll promote one of my in-app purchases, but it won't do the other 6 in-app purchases that are available inside the app. So in order to get around that, what I want to do is take the URI and pass a parameter to it and then initiate an in-app purchase. It would launch the app on the device, it would initiate a buy, and then that would go up to the Apple App Store, start that purchase process, and then it would just have to confirm the payment, and then they would be able to purchase the app. And there wouldn't be this process of, yeah, it's on. Okay, so let me initiate an in-app purchase just to demonstrate what that's like. So that's a link. And now I'm going to bounce over to Safari. So I paste in the link. And the first thing it does is it gives me this error message, which I would like to avoid. Okay, so the initial link is the project organizer URI. So that if the app is installed on the device, it will open this URI, open up the app. Now I have it set that I have a custom URL that this is the one from Apple that you use for testing. It only works if you have Wi-Fi on. So what I'll do is I'll initiate a call to this URI, which is simply this down here at the bottom. And I will send that to the device. And when you send the link, it shows up and it has this nice icon. So then when I get the link on the device, I simply touch that link. Now it's going to redirect to Safari. So it's one click. Then it comes up with this error, and you touch OK on that, and then it's going to ask you, so that's 2 clicks. Then you say open to open another click to open up iTunes on the device, so that's 3 clicks. Half the time the link doesn't even work at all. And it's based on, it has to be on Wi-Fi, you have to be connected to Wi-Fi. It goes up to the App Store through the iTunes app on this device, and then it initiates a purchase process inside of Apple. Well, my point is there's a lot of friction with this purchase process. I'm going to stop this now, and then I'm going to go and compile the app onto the device, and then I'll just demonstrate what happens when you have the app installed. So now, while I'm waiting for that to launch, it looks like it's going to take a little while, I'm going to demonstrate a second experience that you could have. And that would be if you took the project organizer link and then assigned that to the link for when, well actually I'll put that in as a custom URL and open that on the device when someone clicks on Class Organizer, and it'll serve that page on the device, the mobile device. So now I have the same link, I just reconfigured it. I'll touch it. So I did one click. I still get this error. Touch OK. Then it asks me if I want to open it in the App Store. So that was this will be 3 clicks. Okay, this opens up the base application. But remember, the customer clicked on Class Organizer, and they're looking for the Class Organizer app. And it's not readily apparent to them from this page that that's what they're getting. They could just abandon at this point and walk away. But if they scroll down, and then they scroll to the right, and look through all the possible options, they'll eventually get to the app that they're looking for. And that'll download it to their device. Then they would have to tap that button again, same button up here at the top, to actually open it. And I can tell it switched screens right away, so that's telling me that it's initiating the in-app purchase process. So the request went out to Apple and it initiated a buy, and then it came down here, and all I have to do is do the touch to do the purchase, and I'm done. And now the behavior of the app will change from, well, okay, here's a few more tabs. I've lost count at this point. And then there's another one. So now this app is now the Class Organizer app, and then it'll change the icon. If you want to see how to get an app to change the icon automatically, check out my other video. I think that was in number 3 of the app container series, or container app. You touch OK, and now you're ready to go. But there was a lot of touches in there, a lot of friction. Actually, I have this paragraph in the middle of promoting in-app purchases in which they tell you to reduce the purchase friction, try to avoid unnecessary interstitials and messaging, and any extra step will decrease the likelihood that the user will complete the purchase. So they don't say how to do that, so you're left to kind of come up with a room. So the idea I came up with is I want to have a universal link. The universal link works. I'll demonstrate that. So if we'll jump over to Messenger, and if I touch here on the device now, it asks you if you want to open the app, and you click on that, and then it opens the app. Now, what I want to do is take that functionality that opens the app, and presumably they did a purchase for Class Organizer Pro. They could go and find the Settings tab and then purchase that, but I want that click to result in a purchase. So let me get into that right now. So in my app delegate code, I've got several methods here. This is the Swift code. Now this is the payment API, and what this does is it goes through the payment queue and it completes purchases. So that's the code I actually want to call. The way I'm going to call it though is I'm going to handle the universal link, and then that's going to send up a purchase request. So it would be a call to purchase. The in-app purchase ID, SK product, that I want the user to purchase, which is the one that will be passed in on the URL. Yeah, the way I'm going to implement this is located the code where I'm going to insert the logic, and going to be similar to the deep link. However, what I'll be passing in here is it's going to be guard, let, and now I'm going to get the in-app purchase name. I don't want a guard. I'm going to do an if. So these are sort of like guard statements, except that the only way the person's going to get through, or the user of this is going to get through these three levels of check, is if they structure an in-app purchase something like this, except instead of being ITMS services, which is the App Store icon, iTunes, they add these parameters and have first the action, which I'll make purchase intent, and then I'll have the bundle ID equal to this app, Project Organizer, and then I'll get the product identifier, and then presumably that would represent one of the in-app purchases that's available in this app. So I'm going to do a check here. I'll do if bundle ID. So now if they've taken the action, and it should be purchase intent. So actually I will block on the purchase intent. Okay, so at this point we should have an action. It should be equal to purchase intent. We should have a bundle ID. It should be equal to LR Project Organizer. And then we should have a product identifier. Now I need to test the product identifier and make sure that's one of the available purchases. And actually we're doing Swift here. Let me just see if I'm getting to the right method. So I just have to pass in an SK product. Okay, so it's going to redirect to Project Organizer. It's a universal link for Project Organizer. Makes sense. Opens Project Organizer. Okay, so it drops it in the same code. Let's see if it tries to import a file. Okay, it didn't try to import a file, which is good. So okay, we're starting to print stuff here. We got key, link ID, link click ID. That's nice. Well, that's definitely not action. Okay, so we got a bunch of items here. Okay, so that opened it. So that was successful, but it, oh, okay, so that's a spotlight search. Now let's try this deep link. Okay, so it's going to open Project Organizer. Okay, it's stopped in the debugger. See if it matches on that universal URL. And it did. Okay, good. So now we have a nice place to put our code. Well, I guess we got to print out these things. Okay, what do we get? Purchase intent. Bundle ID is not set. Okay, bundle ID. What's the parameter? Bundle ID. Looks like bundle ID. But let's see, we can never be too sure. Looks the same. Oh, is that misspelled? It was misspelled. Okay. So secure. Alright, let's run this one out. And we'll try it one more time. Okay. Oh wow, bundle ID still didn't match. Wow. Now what's the problem? Oh, I probably made it spelled the same way as... Or did I spell with a capital L? I couldn't have. Are you kidding me? I did. Oh my god. let's try that again. I didn't run that one out. Let me run this one out to completion. Okay, let's try that again. See if I can just run it from there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we're ready to buy something. Okay, I'll just try to actually buy something now. Okay, I think we're good to go. Now we'll just hit this URL. See how it goes. Action, purchase intent, product identifier, LR class organizer, bundle ID, LR project organizer. A little out of order, but it's okay. So we're going to purchase the class organizer. Let's just run it through, see how it goes. Okay. This looks like it's going to work. Oops. I accidentally canceled the purchase. My bad. Okay, I think we're going to try that again. Let's give it another whirl. This time maybe we'll count the number of clicks to see if we really streamline the purchase flow and reduce the purchase friction. Oh, I forgot to hit the play button here. Okay, so we're going to go here, here, here. Okay, let's run this through. Okay, we're going to confirm it. Try to touch the right buttons this time. Okay. And then it's... Okay, I'm going to buy it twice. My bad. We should be set now. Okay, we're changing the icon. And now presumably go out to disk. The app's there, and it's switched to Project Organizer. Now, let's just, I'm going to kill some of these debug statements so it doesn't look as painful, and we can see if we really optimize the purchase stream and reduced friction from this in-app purchase process. It's already running. Well, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to rebuild it. Well, actually, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to delete it. Okay, we got rid of it. Let's build it again. Okay, we still got the class organizer. Apparently I didn't delete it successfully. Or maybe I had a few purchases queued up. Okay, let's try that again. I think it's working really well. So we'll stop it. Okay, now I'm going to test it again, but this time I'm going to switch the purchase. That one I've tried a few times and it works. Let's go with Class Organizer Pro. Okay, it looks like a complete URL. Let's see if it gets hyperlinked. Okay, so now we got the app running. Let's go to Safari. So this is only going to work if the app's installed. Okay, so I just bought the Class Organizer Pro app. I'd say that's pretty frictionless. So now I'm going to rebuild it. And while it's rebuilding, I'm going to create another URL. Okay, let's see if this is frictionless to buy the Project Organizer Pro. Okay, so we got one click. But actually that first click wouldn't probably happen if they clicked on the link. That would be the first click. So then we have a second click here. And by click I mean touch. And then we have a third touch. It's a lot less touches than when we started. Actually, that was so frictionless, I messed up my ID, and now that owns a different product. Okay, I gotta stop it, delete the app, and it's now Project Organizer. The name really doesn't change unless you switch languages. So I'm going to build it. Now I want to log out of my ID. Now we're ready for the next test. So I'm going to go with the Opportunity Organizer Pro. So that's one touch. Okay, we'll buy it. Hit the buy button. That's like 2 touches. The sandbox acknowledgement. These won't normally come up on in the regular store purchases when you're in the production version. Just need a little time. That was successful. Now I am going to stop it. Going to delete the app. Log out. First, I'm going to make a quick change here. Just going to turn down the logging. Okay, so we got a URL to touch. As soon as we have an app, okay, so we got the base app now with the base icon. So the icon of the base app looks like this in the lower right corner. Okay, we'll give it another whirl. That looks a little more successful. Okay, so that was a purchase of the Opportunity Organizer base app, free version, and it was pretty frictionless. There we go. Gotta finish that. Okay, so the app icon changed.